Thank you and welcome to this video. It's Derek Jensen here from Lead Altitude. And in this presentation, I want to walk you through our current 2020 service overview for LinkedIn franchise lead generation. So before we begin, a little bit about us. So between my partner and myself and our team, we have over 12 years of combined B2B lead gen experience with 7+ years operating on LinkedIn. And throughout that time, we generated over 3,600 leads for clients in 9 industries and also served 50+ clients in over 30 states and 4 countries in the franchising industry. At this point, we're focused on lead generation methodology, specifically in the industry. And also, I believe, the only company right now that offers guaranteed services. And more about us here. Our main strategy focuses on direct response marketing. So we're a direct response agency, mainly using LinkedIn, email, Facebook, and additional multi-touch point platforms. We do this at a fully hands-on, done-for-you campaign basis, and mainly rely on data, delivering measurable KPIs, comparing it to industry benchmarks. For the past 12+ months, we've meticulously collected data and have used that to keep optimizing results moving forward. So again, 50+ clients in the industry with over 10%, 6 months results, 3 deals within 120 to 150 days, 3 closing deals within 120 to 150 days. So we've been tracking that pretty in detail. At this point, we've identified 9 million total addressable market within the LinkedIn ecosystem, with a 4th level targeting. We call this 4th level customizing the campaigns to personally fit each client and be able to differentiate them. And also we provide lead types and handoffs that make it simple and save you time pretty much. Different lead levels, level 1, 2, and 3. Minimizing your time requirements and using best practices that we've personally tested out. We can go ahead and compare the expectations there as well and take a look at the engagement rules. We provide checklists and guidelines through the process. So why direct response? So for us, direct response specifically in this industry, because it's really the sales technique designed to evoke an on-the-spot response, right? Encourages prospective customers to take action by immediately opting in, and that's how you measure results fast and efficiently. Campaigns running within a month, 30 days, 21 days, being able to get measurable results, right? So that's the main reason we utilize direct response. And why LinkedIn? Reviewing all of the platforms, LinkedIn has the highest average earning per user across Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and other platforms. And obviously, due to the fact that we're going after B2B targets, then it makes sense to go into the LinkedIn platform. Not all LinkedIn campaigns are created equal, though, because as you may or may not have tested yourself, you will notice that other types of outreach or other types of direct response methods or advertising or posting have different results across the LinkedIn platform. And that could be affected by who it is you're going after, who it is you're targeting, how you're implementing, and your overall strategy, what you're measuring. So for us, what we've been able to do is just test. So testing. We tested the LinkedIn platform, different titles, different industries, for over 12+ months in the franchising vertical, offering the franchise business ownership or semi-passive investment, full investor, or business financing or brokerage. And we've been able to identify a market that has been the most responsive to it. So we've now been able to work with just over 10 to have 12 franchisors, 30 consultants, a few brokers, and few funding companies, and have a total addressable market of 9 million that we're able to customize and mix and match to new clients and existing clients to keep maintaining those consistent results. Now, some of our other insights include in the targeting that the most responsive people with the best skill sets and the highest liquid and net worth are sales and marketing and project management executives with 10 plus years in experience in a corporate setting, or also existing business owners. These guys have transferable skills, Rolodex of contacts, they have the sales skills, conversations in their mind, they have the right motivations, right? So looking into retirement or diversifying their investments. They also have, again, that higher net worth and the quality due to their experience. And these guys, they're mid-funnel stages closing in 90, 120, 150 days, maybe towards 9 months if it's a multi-unit bigger deal. However, they are what we've seen to be the most responsive and the best types of prospects identified on LinkedIn. So let's now compare what it is that you can do on LinkedIn and what you can do outside of LinkedIn. And this is actually taken from Predictable Revenue. And here they classify leads in 3 types. Right? So you have your spears, your seeds, and your nets. These are how you catch the lead, so to speak, with the spears being outbound sales or targeted sales, direct response, having a bit of lower volume, higher value per lead, medium work to increase, and the same strategy that grew Salesforce to 60% in revenue. Right, so those are the direct response tactics. Next thing you have here are your seeds, so word of mouth or PR. You have lower volume, it's higher value per lead, and it's harder to increase, hard to scale. Right, it's hard to scale your word of mouth or getting big press releases for you. And then finally, you have the nets. These are your high volume, low value per lead, easiest to increase. So these are your portal leads. These are your opt-in leads and the leads that you need to cold call and really hammer hard to follow up with. So looking at this chart here, obviously we want to focus in on the spears. High value per lead, medium work to increase. That's fully delegated to our team. And it might be a little bit on the lower volume, but again, because of the quality and because of the automation and the ability to implement at a higher level, we're able to maximize the spears for you. All right, so here's a quick overview of our methodology on how we move people down the pipeline and then what assets we need to put together in order for that process to be the most efficient. So here we have 3 phases: the attraction phase, the nurture phase, and conversion. Wherein for the attraction, you work on your positioning, that would be your profile, your messaging, and also maybe some of your value content. So maybe your website or a video or any asset like that, or posting on social media. Those assets and positioning would then be used to attract people into having a conversation with you. And then after you have that conversation with them, you would then nurture them again with your value content, your positioning, maybe a few testimonials, and of course your follow-ups, which then moves them into your conversion. You're converting them towards your discovery day or introduction to your franchisors. And again, that's using your follow-ups and then your value content. So we simply follow this process and then work on the key 3 things, and then we just keep moving people down the pipeline. So here are the 3 phases for that execution plan. First phase is validation, setup and validation. Second is optimization, and third is scale. Typically on that first month, that setup begins with building the positioning assets, the profile, calendar booking, landing page, and then creating the launch attraction assets as well, the messaging sequence that needs to be put together. And then that's when we start booking your initial sales calls. As soon as we go through the first phase, first month, typically getting a few people in your pipeline, we're moving into optimization. And this is when we refine the messages and targeting, focusing on those few that qualified. We initiate follow-ups and social selling for nurture, adding additional targets to the monthly top end. And then we start booking consistently weekly calls. And then the third phase is scaling. This is when it's a little bit of an optional thing, depending on your needs, but this is when you're able to create and leverage some content, some videos, or some introduction pieces that would warm up the prospect prior to them having a conversation with you. And here's where we also track a lot more of the data to increase the conversion factors, be that geographic targeting or any adjustments in the messaging, which we can also expand into new markets and verticals. All right, so from that process, 3 leads are delivered: level 1, level 2, and level 3. And here they're classified on their level of interest, depending on the amount of time they've already spent prior to even talking to you, and also the questions that they ask, right? So the level 1 leads, these are the cream of the crop, the top level leads. And prior to getting these, all you've done so far is approve the messaging sequence and targeting. And all we need for you to do for these guys is to show up. These calls are directly booked into your calendar with 10 to 15 booked per month, and about a 1 to 45 or plus or minus contact to close rate. So 1 in 45 people typically would be a strong candidate to close. And we also have these as the guaranteed calls, or up to 75% of your money back. Level 2 leads. So these leads, what we ask from you is to respond to them just the same way you respond to a form inquiry, or maybe a Google ad that submits a form, or anybody that hands you a lead with a name and email and a question. Getting about 2 to 3 a day, and 5 to 10 minutes to respond to these guys. You get about 20 to 30 lead responses per month in addition to the level 1 leads. And these are positive inquiries about the franchise opportunity. And finally, you have the level 3 leads. These guys are similar to your portal leads, about 500 on average per month, and best reached out to via email. And you can leverage your CRM or automation for this one here, with about half an hour per month required to upload them into your CRM. So again, level 1, just get on the phone calls. Level 2, respond 5 to 10 minutes a day. And level 3, put them into your CRM for your automation. So here's a quick sample. This is a screenshot of a tracking dashboard that each of our clients get. And here you can see an example of people booking calls, putting in their phone numbers here, and breaking down the details. Here are how the numbers break down. From the 10 to 15 guaranteed phone calls, we're looking at about an 80 to 90% contact rate. So if, let's say, 12 people book a call, about 8 or 9 would show up. And depending on the skill set of the salesperson on the other end, they convert between 15 to 40% into the pipeline, which converts to about 1 to 3, and also validates the campaign. As soon as we see the 1 to 3, then those are going to be who we focus in on to move on to that optimization stage. So the action item, again, that we ask from you from this point is to show up for the calls. Level 2 leads. So here are some franchise inquiries that come in that our team is unable to answer or address. So as you can see, they express interest. They're asking a question, getting about 2 to 3 a day, with 20 to 30% booking calls within a 24-hour response. They are handed off to you via an email notification, and again, 5 to 10 minutes to respond. So for some context, here is an example response from a prospect responding. After receiving the message, he said, "Jason, thanks for reaching out in your kind words. I'm actually looking for some guidance on buying up small businesses around the Boston or New York area. Thanks." So my team may not know what to say to this person, and this is when we hand it off to you. You get notified via email for you to respond. 2 to 3 a day, 20 to 30 a month. All right, so the lead handoff, level 1, automatically booked in your calendar. The prospects receive reminders, same thing with yourself. And then everything is documented on the tracking sheet. Level 2, you're notified via email. You respond to the request for information and have them book a call. Everything's tracked on the sheet as well. And then just make sure that they're responded to within 24 hours. So add it to your daily social media habit, 5 to 10 minutes. And then final level 3 leads, 30 minutes, adding it to your CRM for your follow-ups. And these are inactive connections who have not responded or said no. And we provide you the name and email for additional outreach to them, which you can also add to your other marketing campaigns, like your retargeting campaigns for custom audiences. All right, so here is a better idea of the time frame. Here are some expectations on time frame on the onboarding stage, the launch, the optimization, and then the scale. So as you can see, you have the new contacts, the level 1 call bookings, level 2 responses, and the pipeline candidates as well. And that's why initially we do set up a 90-day campaign to make sure that we're hitting these numbers and getting consistent people in the pipeline. So at the end of the month, 12 months, 1 to 3 in the pipeline is about 12 to 36. And even at a 10% conversion rate for the 12, that would be 1 deal. So this is the same reason why we put these numbers in place to make sure that even if you do invest with Lead Altitude for an entire year, you still have a great potential for a positive return on your investment. All right, so at the end of the year, here are our targets for each client. We work with 2 to 3 franchise placements per year per profile. This is done through 10 to 15 consistent call bookings, converting 1 to 3 in your pipeline per month, getting you to a healthy 9 to 12 engaged pipeline candidates, producing a deal every 90 to 150 days or a quarter, and also eliminating 2 to 3 hours per day prospecting, doing your follow-ups and testing. And of course, these are with deals that have 100 to 90 to 120 day closing time frame, typically 30 to 100,000 startup fees. So depending on the cost and the needs of your franchise, these numbers may vary. So results will vary, again, depending on the performance, your performance, what you do, how you do your business, and the systems you have set up. The results will vary. But for an example, here is our client Jason Blau, who started mid 2019 and closed his first deal within 87 days, the following deal within the 7th or 8th month, with a 3rd and 4th deal upcoming as well, having a very healthy return on investment while being able to delegate and systemize his LinkedIn lead generation with some verified results. In addition to Jason, we also have a few guys here that we've worked with, a few from the franchise consulting company, a few independent franchisors, a few guys from FranChoice, FranNet, FranServe, Franchise Guy, FranStar, FranNexus, franchisors directly as well, getting them up and running on LinkedIn. So at the end of the day, the program works for most people that are really open to the opportunity and who can identify and value the targets, the conversations you're having on LinkedIn. So this is best for people who have a long-term and growth compounding effort to result mindset, right? Because people in the franchise industry don't typically buy over a week. It takes a few months, a few weeks. So being able to consistently go through and add people to your pipeline, being able to value that seems to be very key. Being KPI driven, also knowing your numbers, constant optimization, what can we improve, right? That type of mindset. understanding your own deal closing factors, so your tonality on the phone, or your call to close ratio, or your follow-ups, or the what you send, what you get back. Also, all of those factors, right? The metrics and the time frame. Forward thinking and adaptive to innovation and change, especially with the circumstances we have right now. Being able to relate to prospects and future paced conversations as well. Those have been really key. Being open to feedback and statistical relevance for data, not being too emotional, and being able to have a campaign run its course to see how we can improve. And obviously, just having an initiative as well. So if you see something we can improve, let us know. It's a partnership. We try to eliminate your hand off your low level prospecting, so you could focus in on your high value tasks. So if you want to nurture those relationships instead and focus on building that know, like, and trust scenario with the prospect, then we can take over the prospecting, so you can maximize time there. Also, of course, it's not for everybody. Again, we've seen that short-term minded people, if you want to test it out for a week or two or a month, I'd say maybe don't even start, because there's a certain amount of prep work, and you have to be able to want to see how results play out, how you can improve things, right? So it's a 90-day commitment required to get started. We can't. Another thing here is just, again, not valuing those conversations, right? Like not responding, not showing up on calls, not talking with the account manager. That's where it falls through. Is when the relationship and the communication falls through. If you can't follow up with leads or keep track of your calls or prospects, if you're still writing things down on pieces of paper that get lost, then maybe work on that first. Because again, it's a long game we're playing, right? So if you're unable to nurture prospects into discoveries, if you're not identifying new trends or new franchisors that could be great options, if you're finding yourself giving yourself a lot of excuses for some failed actions or lack of sales, and just the inability to be rational in letting go of that emotional part of decision making, and relying on data a little bit more and keeping things moving forward. So those have been the main not factors for people who should focus in on other things maybe. All right, so a few frequently asked questions here. How long before I see the results? It's going check back on the time frame there, but within 30, 60 days. Within the first 30 days, a few prospects in the pipeline is the goal. 60 days is optimization to keep it consistent, and within 90 days to start scaling that by adding channels and top-end numbers. Do I need to be constantly on LinkedIn? Not necessarily. There is an element of consistency required for the responses on a daily basis, weekdays, 5 to 10 minutes, again, when you're checking your social media. But aside from that, not required. Can you use it as the main source? Some people with smaller budgets, maybe, but we still suggest for you to diversify and maybe have another one or two, unless you're fully scaled up, and maybe have a few profiles running. Will you help me out with the profile? Yes, we do. We have guides and templates that we provide, and we critique your profile as well and make sure that everything that can be done has been done to get it up and running. It's part of our process. Are my leads exclusive or shared? They are exclusive. They're custom built for your targeting, for your persona, and they are not shared to anybody else. Is it scalable? Yes, through different profiles. Internally, we have 3 or 4 profiles, booking calls for our sales team, generating close to 20 calls a week. So it's definitely scalable with clients opening up additional profiles as well if they have the bandwidth. How does the campaign differ from other clients? Again, it's custom to whoever you have the best chance of talking with, and having a better conversation about the franchise opportunity, using your backstory, using your brand, using your ideal candidate profile. That's what we use in order to customize it. What happens if I get 0 calls after 30 days? So let's say you get 0 calls or leads after 30 days, then that would be the 75% money back. We still try to fix it, and this has never happened before. We're pretty dialed in. We try to do another 30 days for free. Otherwise, we do the 75% money back. And that's super worst case scenario. However, again, we've had this 0% happen. So that's why we have our guarantee. What else should I do to maximize your efforts? Just have an updated profile and be able to communicate on what's relevant with what's happening, and just know what you're selling as well. Be able to relate, work on the sales game, and work to relate with your candidates and prospects. Do you offer referrals or partnership deals? Yes, we do. Throughout our conversations, once you've come on board or during follow-up conversations, we can definitely talk about that further. How many clients can we handle at this point? By the making of this video, we're currently at 50, working on 60 towards the beginning of the second quarter, and looking at onboarding close to about 90 to 100 maximum by the end of the year. And what if I have a restricted profile? So we have ways to work around that and maybe still manage. However, you're also able to be assigned an assistance profile or a third-party profile, or maybe somebody that you can utilize in your company as a profile. So there are opportunities even with restricted profiles, as long as we can get a profile activated. All right, so the requirements here, a few tech requirements and profile requirements. Again, LinkedIn profile with Sales Navigator. That's personal or your assistants, around $70 a month. A calendar booking software, $10 to $12 a month. We recommend Calendly. And also a CRM. This is optional to manage your pipeline leads once we start handing them off. And for time and bandwidth, it's 10 to 15 hours per week. Availability to take calls, 5 to 10 minutes to respond to level 2 engagements, and about 1 to 2 hours per month to speak with your account manager for feedback. For our 2020 pricing, we do have $1,500 flat fee to get started. Also, with the current economic landscape, we do have additional hybrid options for a partnership or revenue share deals at $1,000 and another lower option. So if you're interested there, feel free to inquire as well. So there's a few opportunities, pitfalls, and pro tips that I just want to share finally here. The pitfalls is really not leveraging LinkedIn to its full potential right now. So if you have a dormant profile, it hasn't been used, you're not leveraging it, why not get 10 to 15 calls and add to your pipeline? Huge pitfall right now, huge opportunity that people are missing out on. Giving up too soon from lack of the actionable data. Again, you might have been burned or have had a bad LinkedIn campaign before, but that does not mean that it's created equal, right? So might have not been data driven or have tested the right things. Bad targeting and a mismatch on outreach, those are the top things that cause that. And also the overall inconsistency. So with every day that goes on, that's a missed opportunity for you to have reached out to 30, 40, 50 people regarding the opportunities that you have that can also assist not only their livelihood, your livelihood, but the whole economic landscape as well. So just a few pro tips there. You got to leverage it, maximize it. You got to LinkedIn gives you the ability to reach out and do what needs to be done, then do it. It helps for clout. It helps in our direct response angle. Position yourself and showcase your strengths. People nowadays are gonna be looking more towards online resources with everything being restricted. So being able to have a strong online presence will help you stand out. And as with all activities, expect to deal with a learning curve, right? There will be challenges even working with us, even with a proven system like ours. There's still bugs and there's still, a few kinks that have to happen in order to fully scale and maximize the campaign. So if you're interested, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for spending the time. Our goal is to help reestablish the personal and business ownership across the US, especially in these upcoming times. Maybe around the globe. We're starting around the globe in North America, Canada, and Mexico, a little bit of Middle East as well. And we want to use LinkedIn as the platform to expand on the franchise industry's lead generation efforts. So if you are interested, either check out the bottom of this page and find a way to reach out with us, book a time, or also visit the website leadaltitude.com/apply. And we look forward to speaking with you very soon. Thanks again for your time. Derek Jensen here